We are Buckmore. We are Arizona.
Only 30 games to go. We are back by the Bay in a division dogfight with Colorado and LA, and looking to avoid a sweep in San Francisco tonight. The series finale and our final game against the Giants this year. It's coming up right now on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from AT&T Park and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Renly along the way. D-backs pitchers have given up a total of only 3 runs in this series, but they've lost both games so far. The offense has now gone 23 consecutive scoreless innings, and they have not been able to put up a run on the board. So, Bob, a shake-up at the top of the batting order tonight.
Yeah, going to try something a little bit different, a different look to the lineup tonight. Steven Souza Jr., the right fielder, will be batting leadoff for the Diamondbacks. Last season, batting leadoff for Tampa Bay, 27 games, hit nearly 280, had 4 homers. More importantly, he scored 20 runs, and he got on base at a 364 clip. It's what you're looking for from a leadoff hitter.
Trying to electrify this offense. They're up against another good Giants pitcher tonight, the rookie right-hander Derek Rodriguez, who had no issues when he faced the Diamondbacks at Chase Field back in June.
Yeah, Derek Rodriguez has arguably been the Giants' best pitcher, a legitimate National League Rookie of the Year candidate. He was outstanding against the Diamondbacks back in June.
We'll look to salvage to the finale before it's off to Dodger Stadium. The D-backs and the Giants coming up next on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By the NASCAR Can-Am 500 at ISM Raceway, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. By Chase, make more of what's yours. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. This season, D-backs home run. Score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. By Chaz Roberts, Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By First Watch, the Daytime Cafe. By One AZ Credit Union. Let's bank together. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The Card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the Card today. Well, it's been just over 2 years since the D-backs were swept in a 3-game series here. Time to get back in the win column with the Bull on the mound. D-backs and Giants next on Fox Sports Arizona.
TNT Park, third and final game, game 3 of a 7-game road trip. Steve and Bob have the call, and that's coming up in just a moment. I'm Todd Walsh, hanging out here still just inside the Arizona Diamondbacks dugout. The offensive struggles, Steve and Bob clearly just broke them down for you. You know them if you've been watching the last 2 games. They haven't scored since Sunday against the Seattle Mariners. Torey Lovullo saying earlier today he's been thinking about inserting Steven Souza Jr. at the top of the order and couldn't wait around anymore. Said he just had to go ahead and do it. And let's remind you of his career numbers batting leadoff. You see that 31 games with Tampa, and I love the on-base percentage, as Bob was talking about as well. And earlier today, I talked to Steven Souza Jr. about, well, batting leadoff.
I like it. I like to be the first in line in middle school, so I like to be the first in line here. So it was something that was brought to me last year for a little bit, and a challenge that I accepted, and I liked it there, and something that Torey's given me today, and yeah, it's just another spot in the lineup, another role to do.
How did he approach you on it? How did that go?
It was just written up there. I walked in and found out that I was hitting leadoff. So, you know, it's our job to hit wherever he puts us, and I love hitting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doesn't matter.
These are trying times for your offense, though, Steven. So tell me what this team needs to do here tonight to cash in on some of those opportunities that you've left behind on base.
Yeah, it just seems like you know, we can't get a bunch of hits in a row. I think there's some situations where you know, we could have got a run here or there. But you got to tip your cap to some of the pitchers. I mean, they made some good pitches in some crucial situations, as did ours on their side. So we know it's not something that's steady in our offensive. Runs not coming. It's just a couple games where you know, ran into some good pitching, some bad luck, didn't come through in some situations, and we're sitting here with 2 losses we probably don't want.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. I can tell you, just being around these guys starting at about 3 o'clock this afternoon and looking at them right now inside the Arizona Diamondbacks dugout, it is business as usual. They never really get too high or too low. They have a unique ability to flush the bad, and we've seen them do that so many times, but spirits seem to be good. We'll see how it does transpire on the field of play, however, and that's what we'll get to when we come back. First pitch is around the corner. Third and final game, Arizona and San Francisco, and it's next.
Only 30 games to go in this 2018 regular season. We are officially headed down the home stretch with the D-backs tied atop an NL West that finds 3 teams all within just 1 game of one another for the division lead. The Rockies are off tonight. The Dodgers lead 3-0 at Texas. They're in the 8th inning in Arlington. Here's your Diamondback batting order tonight. That's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
That's not a misprint. Steven Souza Jr. leading it off out in right field. A.J. Pollock will be in center. David Peralta in left field. Paul Goldschmidt will be at first base. Daniel Descalso spelling Eduardo Escobar at third base tonight. Ketel Marte will be at second. Nick Ahmed at short. Alex Avila doing the catching tonight for right-hander Zach Godley.
Diamondbacks have gone 23 innings without scoring a run, trying to snap that stretch against your Ram truck starting pitcher for the Giants tonight. It's the right-hander Derek Rodriguez. He's had an impressive rookie season. 6-1, a 2.30 ERA. He is the son of Hall of Fame catcher Pudge Rodriguez.
As a 4-pitch mix, relies heavily on a fastball, curveball, changeup combination. We'll mix in some occasional sliders, especially the second and third time through the order.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the diamond at the Giants defense tonight.
Gorky Hernandez, the hero of the ball game last night for the Giants with that game-winning hit in the bottom of the ninth. He'll be out in center field tonight. Austin Slater in left, Andrew McCutchen in right. It'll be Alan Hansen at third base tonight. Brandon Crawford at short. Joe Panik at second. Brandon Belt over at first base with Nick Hundley catching once again for right-hander Derek Rodriguez.
Calling the balls and strikes tonight is Corey Blazer, our plate umpire. Trip Gibson's at first base. The crew chief, Brian Gorman, is our second base umpire tonight. There he is. And Adrian Johnson is at third. Time, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, this scoreless stretch has to end sometime. First things first, just score that first run to break this streak of not scoring runs for the better part of 3 ball games. Just get 1 run on the board and take it from there.
This is our final game against the Giants this year. D-backs only 7-11 in the season series so far. Steven Souza Jr., 238, 3 homers, leads it off. One more here in San Francisco, then it's off to LA for 4 at Dodger Stadium beginning tomorrow night. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Belt calling off Hundley. 1 pitch, 1 out for Rodriguez. So Souza tries to ambush the rookie. That didn't work out. Here's A.J. Pollock batting in the 2-hole tonight. A.J. 273 and 16 home runs. It's a very pleasant evening here, probably the warmest of the 3 days we've been here this week. Not too much wind to speak of for the moment, kind of blowing in from right center field just a bit.
Yeah, that wind has really calmed down from earlier this afternoon. Those flags were starched.
Yeah, they really were. Just a little bit of cloud cover right now. Up into that light sky, McCutchen. Can he find it in right field? There it is. Well, Derek Rodriguez, 2 outs on 3 pitches. And that brings up David Peralta.
And we mentioned that outing that Derek Rodriguez threw against the Diamondbacks back at Chase Field, 6 1/3, gave up 6 hits, a shutout baseball, threw 102 pitches in that ball game. He's on pace to finish this one with about 40 pitches.
David back in the starting lineup, 303 and 25 home runs. Giants have the shift on, 3 infielders. On the first base side, StatCast AI, powered by AWS. Panic, the second baseman, back of the outfield grass. Hernandez in center field, shaded a bit toward left center. David singled as a pinch hitter last night. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games.
Rodriguez just recently spent 10 days on the disabled list with a hamstring strain that he suffered in that brawl with the Dodgers. You may remember Nick Hundley and Yasiel Puig got into it at home plate, and Rodriguez came sprinting out of the dugout and blew a hammy.
It was the rookie leading the charge. David ahead, 3 balls and a strike with Goldie on deck. Fastball misses. All 4 for Peralta. Paul Goldschmidt, 30 home runs, 292 on the year. He has singled and walked twice in the series. No shift against Goldie by the Giants. I don't really think you could shift against Goldie. Maybe you'd put the center fielder over toward right center just a bit, but you got to pretty much play him straight away, don't you?
Yeah, I think you have to, just based on where he's hit the ball throughout his career. Maybe if the count's in his favor, you slide over to the pull side a little bit more in the infield. But yeah, Chris Stratton that started the first game of this series for the Giants. When Stratton was on the mound, the Giants bunched their outfielders. The right fielder, McCutchen, and the left fielder kind of scooted over in the gaps. They were giving Goldie both the right and left field line, but they didn't do that last night, and not doing it quite to the same extreme here tonight.
Boy, Rodriguez was cruising, 2 outs on 3 pitches. He walked Peralta, now behind on Goldie, 2-0. Rodriguez has a fastball that sits low 90s, the 4-seamer and the sinker. He'll mix in the curveball, the changeup, and the cutter. The curve and change are his out pitches. Descalso at third base tonight would be next. Well, Corey Blazer gives him the 3-0 strike. That look pretty much says it all.
I'm going to have to dig out that book and reread that chapter. Scorecasting.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a good book.
Yeah, and they have a chapter in there about umpires calling 3-0 pitches strikes and how many times that 3-0 pitch is out of the zone and called a strike.
Well, that's really changed the at-bat. Took a big cut at that off-speed pitch, and now it's 3-2. Bell to play behind the runner Peralta at first base. There goes David from first, and that one is just off the corner. A couple of 2-out walks bring up Daniel Descalso. Boy, what an unusual inning. 2 outs on 3 pitches, and then back-to-back bases on balls.
You saw Bruce Bochy's reaction. Wow, what is he doing out there?
Descalso 250, 11 homers. Checking in with Hensley Mullins, the bench coach. He's already pacing.
He's looking for a lucky place to stand.
They do have the shift on for Descalso. There's his strike. Well, you talk to the Giants, they're right back in it. They think they've won 4 straight, 6 of their last 9. They're back at 500. And they're only 6 games off the NL West division lead. So they're still grinding a little bit. 0-2. Rodriguez bouncing back here against the left-hander. This is in the air, shallow right center. Corquez Hernandez has got it. Rodriguez, the rookie right-hander, strands 2. Zach Godley coming up. D-backs, the right-hander Zach Godley, 13-7, a 4.59 ERA. Zach coming off a loss to the Mariners in his previous start. That was last Friday in Phoenix.
Has to feel odd for Zach Godley not to be hooked up with Derek Holland in the ball game tonight. He's had 3 starts against the Giants, all coming against the Giants lefty. 1 really good one, 2 not so good.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Giants lineup.
Andrew McCutchen will lead it off. He'll be playing right field. Joe Panik at second base. Brandon Crawford at shortstop. Nick Hundley doing the catching again tonight with Brandon Belt at first. Austin Slater in left field. Alan Hansen at third base. Corquez Hernandez in center. And righty Derek Rodriguez on the mound.
D-backs put 3 infielders on the left-hand side. There's the strike to McCutchen, batting .255 with 15 home runs. McCutchen has a pair of hits in the series. He has doubled and walked 3 times. He was on base 3 times last night. Zach Godley has been roughed up in his last 2 starts against the Giants. 7 earned runs allowed in only 3 1/3 here in San Francisco. That was June 4th. And then 7 earned in only 4 innings at Chase Field. That was the last time he faced them, July the 1st. And he starts off with a strikeout of McCutchen, 1 down. A look around the diamond at the Diamondbacks defense. That's brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Jay Pollock out in center field. David Peralta in left. Steven Souza Jr. in right. It'll be Daniel Descalso and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield tonight, with Ketel Marte and Paul Goldschmidt manning the right side. Alex Avila behind the dish for righty Zach Godley.
Joe Panik at second base. 247 and 4 home runs. Zach Godley has come out throwing strikes, 0-1. Panik on base twice last night. He singled and walked. Sat out Monday's series opener. Zach Godley adamant about getting back to doing what he was doing earlier in the month. Being able to get the ball down and get ground balls. He's generated only 4 ground balls in his loss to Seattle last week, the lowest total in any start this year. And there's a grounder for out number 2. Work that 2-seamer, cutter, curveball, changeup, get weak contact, generate outs, use your defenders. That's usually the Godley game plan. Crawford, the shortstop, bats third, 262 and 12 home runs. Crawford has been a bit of a tough out for Zach Godley. 4 for 7 career with a home run. We've seen Evan Longoria bat in this spot the first 2 games, but Longoria gets the night off tonight. Boy, Zach Godley has come out attacking these Giants hitters. 10 pitches, 8 strikes, everything right in or around the edges of the strike zone. And he's ahead of Crawford, 1-2. Alex Avila back there tonight. Didn't go to the curveball that time. It's 2-2.
I was wondering if we might see a different plan of attack from Zach Godley tonight. Eventually he's going to use that curveball, especially in 2-strike counts, but talk about the advanced scouting and the video scouting all the time. Everybody's looking for that Zach Godley curveball. He might be able to cruise through a couple innings just throwing sinkers and cutters.
That cutter misses up, and now it's full 3-2 with Hundley on deck. Looked like he shook off to get to that changeup too. Interesting. There's a swing and a miss. Godley, 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 first. Good start here in San Francisco. Texas, the Dodgers have only 4 hits. The bad news is 3 of them are home runs. They lead the Rangers 3-0, and they are through 8 innings now. They just started the 9th. Bellinger, Machado, and Grandal, 3 solo shots.
Number 32 on the season for Manny Machado.
Rockies are off tonight. They open up a series at San Diego tomorrow. Dodgers closing in on another win at Texas before we head to LA starting tomorrow night. Ketel Marte starts off the second against rookie Derek Rodriguez. 250 and 10 home runs. Got the D-backs and the Rockies tied for the division lead. Both clubs 12 over 500. Dodgers only 1 game back. The Giants are 6 games behind. One and one. Marte had a couple of hits last night. He singled and doubled. Up the middle, that gets behind Rodriguez. Crawford cleans it up. And they retire Marte to start the second. It's a wild ball game going on right now. It's Cincinnati, where the Brewers and Reds are tied up 10-10.
Oh my.
Milwaukee's Christian Yelich has hit for the cycle for the Brewers. Brewers have 16 hits. The Reds have 11 hits. 10-10 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's Nick Ahmed. Nick with 16 homers, hitting .245.
Matt Harvey started that game for the Redlegs, went 4 innings, struck out 6, didn't walk a man, but gave up 11 hits and 5 runs.
Matt Harvey. Breaking ball misses, 1-0. Matt Harvey's a guy you think might still be moved. You have to have your trade completed by August 31st to put that player on your postseason roster. So there should be some trade activity in the next 48 hours or so. And then we get into September when it's expanded rosters. You might have to give up your luxury seat on the airplane. It's going to get a little crowded.
I'm sure they'll find room for everybody. Rookies triple up. Sit on each other's lap if necessary. Now, September's an odd time of year in the major leagues. Of course, most of the ballparks now have great big clubhouses with lots of room, knowing that players are going to be coming up in September. But back in the day, they used to have to put temporary lockers down the hallway at Candlestick Park because there just wasn't enough room for all the players in the clubhouse.
Oh boy, now the size of some of these clubhouses is amazing. Alex Avila on deck. Over the head of Rodriguez, panic at second. Another ground ball out for Rodriguez, 2 down. So you had to go down and you had these.
Fortunately, I didn't have to do it, but as you can imagine, it was cold, it was windy everywhere at Candlestick Park, even when you were in the clubhouse or in the tunnels, and they'd close the doors to the clubhouse and you would walk down the tunnel to the dugout, and that's where they put the metal lockers for the September call-ups, in that hallway. So not only was it dusty and dirty and a lot of traffic, but
it's like a bad YMCA.
Yeah, you just didn't even really feel like you were part of the team because the rest of the guys got to dress on the other side of the door.
Shift is on for Avila. Alex started Monday's game here 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. He's hitless in his last 3 starts. Well, I imagine back in the day that's probably the way the veterans wanted it, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah. You abused the rookies in September when they got called up. They had to run and get coffee and run back in the clubhouse and get me another pair of batting gloves. If you happen to be down in the bullpen, the base umpires would come out to the bullpen between innings. Hey, go up there and get me a cup of coffee next inning. Yes, sir.
Some teams still do that now with rookies, but they, if there's a Starbucks across the street from the ballpark, the rookie has to go across the street in full uniform and get like 19 cups of coffee. And that creates kind of a scene. So some of the veterans have fun that way. Inside, and it's 3-1 on Avila with the pitcher Godley on deck. Rodriguez has already walked 2 in the ball game. Right there for a strike, and it's full 3-2.
We're talking about Candlestick Park. We have a bonus this day in baseball history for you tonight.
You gave me a hint, and it's definitely a favorite.
1966, the Beatles performed their last concert at Candlestick Park.
And that wasn't even the one that made it. The other one is so good.
Oh, yeah, it's outstanding.
And it's nicely coincidental that we're here for this one. And there's a fastball up. Third walk through the first 8 batters by the rookie Rodriguez, and they'll clear Godley's spot.
Yeah, that's a big walk right there to get Zach out of the way here in the second inning and roll back around to the top of the order.
That's punch foul. Rodriguez barely walked anybody when he first came up, but the bases on balls been a little more frequent lately. He's walked 3 twice in his last 4 starts, and he's walked 3 tonight already. Just off the plate, 1-2 on Godley. His last start here against Texas, 2 runs, just 3 hits allowed in 6. He did walk 3. Got a no decision against the Rangers. Godley reaches out and pokes it to Belt at first. Rodriguez got a hustle, and he just did beat Godley to the bag, says Trick Gibson down there. They may want to have a look at this. Wow. That might be a dead heat tie. They're having a look. Alan Campbell, D-backs video coordinator. I mean, if you can get this call reversed, you've got 2 on for Souza, the leadoff man. So it might be worth a shot here, trying to get a run on the board, but nope, no challenge. And we go to the bottom of the second, still scoreless at AT&T Park. Giants, but we have to be on an airplane after this one. Valley Toyota Dealers presents Let's Go Places. We have to go to Dodger Stadium. It's a 4-game set. Dodgers will throw 3 left-hand starters at the Diamondbacks in that series. We'll see Rich Hill, Hyunjin Ryu, Clayton Kershaw, then the right-hander Walker Buehler on Sunday. We could take a boat. That'd be a nice ride.
I think I'll take the plane. Thank you.
You like to see the shoreline at all times.
Yeah. Although if you'll row the boat, I'll troll behind.
All right, we could have your staff row like in the galley of a ship. You can just bang on the drum and crack the whip.
We'd end up in Fiji or somewhere. You know that.
Well, that could be a good gig.
Yeah, not all bad.
Nick Hundley starts off the Giants second against Zach Godley, who worked a 1-2-3 first with 2 strikeouts. I see the man who shall remain nameless, who we like to call the Cooler, has texted some pictures of the concert you mentioned, the Beatles at Candlestick in '66. Of course, didn't they almost break up after that? A few years later.
Yeah, later.
So we kind of cooled off the Beatles. That's where I was trying to go. 0-2 on Hundley. Boy, good start for Zach Godley. He has come out throwing strikes. Hundley singled twice in last night's game. He was 0 for 3 Monday. And he is 3 for 5 career against Godley with a home run. So it's a pretty small sample size, but he's been a tough out for Zach. Hundley behind the plate in all 3 games here. If you didn't hear, they've lost Buster Posey for the rest of the year. Posey had surgery on his right hip Monday. Had a torn labrum repair. They took a bone spur out of that right hip. A lot of wear and tear, and they are saying it could be 6 to 8 months for Buster Posey, which puts spring training and maybe opening day in jeopardy, depending on how the rehab goes. Godley plunks Hundley right in the back.
Yeah, they have one of their young prospect catchers, Aramis Garcia, up from the minor leagues when Posey went on the disabled list. But Nick Hundley figures to do the bulk of the catching. Initially, Bruce Bochy said he would try to find spots to get Garcia in there, but now that they're only 6 games out of first place in the West, I think Nick Hundley is going to be that horse. He's going to ride right to the finish line.
Jose Alguacil coaching in first. Leadoff man aboard for Brandon Belt, who is hitting .265 with 14 home runs. Diamondbacks will put 3 infielders on the first base side against Belt. Descalso all by himself midway between second and third. Belt 0 for 4 in the series. He is hitting only .159 since the All-Star break, with 2 extra base hits and 2 RBIs. Did miss some time in the second half with a right knee problem. Just came off the DL about 2 weeks ago. No, we didn't, says Adrian Johnson. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
Talked about Brandon Belt's approach in that left-handed batter's box in the ball game last night. He is as still as any hitter in the league. He just stands there, no waggle, not moving his feet, not shifting his weight, just stands there waiting for Godley to throw the ball.
Line to Ahmed, and Hundley is doubled off. Well, that's why they put him there, and he hit it right to the shortstop on the first base side of second, just like that, 2 outs.
That shift is tough on hitters, but it's also tough on base runners. It's very important that as a base runner, you check where all the defenders are before every pitch is thrown. That time, Nick was right up the middle of the field almost. Nick Hundley thought that was going to get through for a base hit and got way too far off the bag that time.
Left fielder is Austin Slater. Breaking balls in there for a strike. Slater has a pair of singles in the series.
And Nick Ahmed from shortstop pointing his index finger up above his head, asking the outfielders, can you see the ball? Can you see the ball? It's that time of night. It's sky starting to get a little darker. The lights haven't taken full effect yet. And this is when it's tough to track those pop-ups.
Yeah, still a pretty light sky up there. Pretty night here by the bay. Two and two. Alan Hansen, the third baseman tonight, would be next. Night off for Evan Longoria. Ketel Marte with a bouncer to second. And we are through two in San Francisco. No score, the D-backs and the Giants.
Back to last night, that ill-fated eighth inning, Nick Ahmed running through the stop sign of third base coach Tony Perez-Chica. He was out at the plate. The rest, as they say, is history. And you may have heard by now that Nick Ahmed said last night on the postgame show that he did not see the stop sign. He picked him up before second base. He was making a very aggressive sign to make that turn. But I talked to Tony Perez-Chica earlier today, third base coach, who's just a stand-up guy. He has been since I knew him as a Phoenix Firebird back in the 80s. He said, look, that is my job to make sure those guys find me. Torey Lovullo saying today that there's accountability on both sides. There's a great conversation about that. And you may see now in the future more aggressive stances from Tony Perez-Chica, maybe running out to try and find those guys as they try to make that turn, and also being a lot more verbal. So look for that as this season concludes.
I think, Bob, we saw Nick, even he admitted head was down all the way. I'm not sure he picked up TP until it was already past the point of no return.
Yeah, when that ball came off the bat, it certainly looked like it was going to split the gap in right center field. Steven Duggar made a real nice play to get over from his position and get to the ball. He made a strong throw to Brandon Crawford, who double pumped before making that high throw to home plate. But I can understand what Nick was thinking out there. The team just can't score runs. You have an opportunity to maybe make something happen, force a bad throw. Maybe somebody drops the ball somewhere in the midst of that play, but this didn't happen last night.
Souza belts it deep to left field, and that ball is gone. A home run from the leadoff spot for Steven Souza Jr. And after 25 consecutive scoreless innings, it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. Well, Souza homered 4 times as the leadoff man in Tampa Bay last year, and he gets the D-backs the early lead.
First things first, just get one and then go from there. Steven Souza Jr. with a line drive home run that just does clear the wall out there in left center field. That has to feel really good.
We need that Jumbo Jack guy back from last night. That's a free Jumbo Jack, a Jack in the Box tomorrow for the purchase of a large drink, and only the 5th home run given up all year by rookie Derek Rodriguez. A.J. Pollock. Boy, Souza, as the leadoff man, popped up on the first pitch of the ball game. But he had a nice long at bat right there, worked the count full 3-2, and then hit a rocket out to left. His 4th of the year. 1-2 on AJ. Third base for Hansen. He's not played a whole lot down there. In for Longoria. That's the first out in the 3rd.
Yeah, we watched Hansen taking ground balls earlier this afternoon, and he had to get a running start to get that ball across the infield. He definitely has a second baseman's arm, but willing to play wherever Bruce Bochy wants him just to get in that lineup.
Yeah, he's played mostly second base and left field, a little bit at shortstop, but very little third in the big leagues. Only 4 starts ever all this year. Peralta walked his first time up tonight. Giants have the shift on. There's ball 1.
That's another way the game has changed. If you had a player playing out of position, and if you came out and watched the Giants batting practice, and you're a guy that can put down a bunt for a base hit, I would have tested him in the first inning of the ball game just to see if he can field a bunt. Can he barehand and throw across the diamond?
Bunt has become a dirty 4-letter word in the game these days. Managers, and Torey Lovullo was in this group, admittedly, they just don't like to give up outs if they don't absolutely have to.
Well, I understand giving up outs on the sacrifice bunt, but I'm talking about bunt for a base hit to get on to start an inning. Yeah, maybe stay out of the double play. Just test guys. You put a catcher at first base, for example. Hey, we got to see if he can field his position. Let's drop a bunt over there, see what he does. And if he fields it cleanly, then, well, okay, let's forget that.
This is laced into right field. A base hit for David. So he's been aboard twice already, a walk and a single. Here comes Goldie. Goldie walked his first time up. Rangers are trying to come back in the bottom of the 9th inning in Texas. Beltre, an RBI double, has made it 3-1. But they're down to their final out against the Dodgers. That's that pitch from Rodriguez that kind of morphs the cutter slider hybrid. He's thrown 50 pitches, barely half for strikes. He's already walked 3. Goldie with that base on balls in the first extends his own D-backs franchise record of reaching base safely in 41 consecutive road games. He's had a base hit in 36 of those games, including last night. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Rodriguez strikes him out. That's his first. 2 outs in the third. Do you think now not bunting at a guy like Hansen at third, or when a catcher's at first, or something like that, it has become almost considered bad manners these days? Are we too nice about that kind of stuff?
Certainly hope not. I mean, that's just competing, taking advantage of the weakness in your opponent.
There's a fastball for a strike. By the way, a final now in Texas. The Dodgers have won. They beat the Rangers 3-1. So right now, LA only a half game back of the NL West lead. No, we didn't, Adrian Johnson. Night off for Eduardo Escobar tonight, so Daniel gets the start at third base for Torey Lovullo. Escobar's been in there just about every day since he showed up from Minnesota.
I think he's only had one off day, and that was the second day he was with the Diamondbacks after all the travel and crazy things he had to do just to get to Chase Field.
That is yanked foul. Got a fastball and turned on it. Ended up in somebody's garlic fries down there.
Yeah, Daniel Descalso grew up just down the road in Redwood City. Had a lot of friends and family here at the ball game during batting practice. He was holding court over there.
Played his college ball at UC Davis. And Rodriguez bounces back with a couple of strikeouts, but Steven Souza Jr. hits an absolute laser. His 4th home run this year. D-backs scoreless drought is snapped at 25. They lead it 1-0. Out there in right field as Alan Hansen leads off the Giant third against Zach Godley. Souza's solo shot has made it 1-0 Diamondbacks, his 4th of the year. Right to Goldie. 1 pitch, 1 out in the third. Well, here's last night's hero, Gorkys Hernandez. His only plate appearance in the series was the walk-off single that won last night's ball game. That was the matchup they were looking for, because before that at bat, Hernandez had been in a 4 for 41 slump. So they got the matchup they wanted, and it just didn't work out.
Looked like a big sweeping breaking ball that started off the plate away, but worked its way right back to the middle and down, and Hernandez lined it into left field for the game winner.
And Duggar came across with what turned out to be the winning and only run of the ball game. Remember, he dove back into the base at second after almost running off, overrunning the bag, and appeared to injure his shoulder, and indeed he had to go on the DL today. So Gregor Blanco, former D-back, is back up for the Giants. Duggar said he popped his shoulder out, and then when he laid down on the ground, it popped back in. So he's on the 10-day DL with a bruised left shoulder. And Blanco is here from Sacramento. And that's trying to find the seats, and it's out of play. Zach Godley, 2 strikeouts in the first, got a line drive double play in the second. And now working to the lower third of the Giants order in the third. No, he didn't trip Gibson. 2-2 on Gorkys Hernandez. The pitcher, Derek Rodriguez, on deck. That's the second batter tonight that Godley has hit. He plunked Hundley just about in the same spot to lead off the second. And now Hernandez is hit in the third.
He's all padded up there on the left elbow, left upper arm. Obviously not something you want to do ahead of the pitcher. You'd rather have Rodriguez up there just swinging away with nobody on base, but now an opportunity for Bruce Bochy to have his pitcher put down a sac bunt if he so chooses.
Descalso in a bit on the grass at third.
Rodriguez is only 2 for 24 this season, but he has put down 4 sacrifice bunts.
Here comes Daniel from third, bunts it back first base side. He picks it up. Almost collided with Goldie there. Marte covers. There's nobody at second. And Peralta backing up the play has to run in all the way from left field to make sure that someone's standing at second base.
I like that. I talk about it all the time. If the ball's not hit to you, that doesn't mean you just stand and watch the play. There's always something you can do. And David saw the infield all broken up, guys running all over the place. Nick had to leave second base to cover third, so there was nobody at second. David tried to sneak in there behind.
Yeah, Hernandez took a big turn at that second base bag. There was no one near him, and Peralta sprinted all the way in. So he's down there in scoring position with 2 outs for the leadoff man, Andrew McCutchen, who struck out to start the ball game for the Giants. On the ground is short. Ahmed is there. Another ground ball out for Godley, who threw 3, leads it 1-0.
Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. This is the headliner. After 1,382 major league at-bats, Smoothie Dwayne Kuiper hits his first and only career home run. He went on to have 3,379 at-bats with one homer.
And that was playing as a member of the Cleveland Indians, right?
Yeah.
And they had a bobblehead day here in San Francisco with Smoothie in an Indians uniform, celebrating his home run. Hansen can't run that down. It drops in over the head of the third baseman. Marte is in at second, and he's got a hustle double. Boy, he dropped that in the perfect spot.
Couldn't have thrown it out there any better than that. Just over the head of Hansen, far enough away that Brandon Crawford couldn't get to it. Slater couldn't come in from left field quickly enough. And give it up for Ketel Marte. A lot of guys hit a little blooper like that, they'd be frustrated with themselves, but he just puts his head down and goes hard. That gives him the opportunity to advance on to second base when Hansen had some trouble getting to the ball.
Yeah, not only did it drop in fair territory, then rolled into that bullpen area, and that allowed Ketel to get an extra 90 feet. So he's at second to start off the fourth. Here's Nick Ahmed, who grounded out his first time up. Did you go over and wish Smoothie a happy anniversary?
Oh, he knew it. I mentioned it to him earlier, and I mentioned it to his partner, Mike Krukow. Krukow didn't know. And, you know, for the big money trivia question, who'd he hit the home run against?
Steve Stone.
Yes, indeed.
I had some help with that one.
And we never let Stoney forget that when we go back to Chicago to play the White Sox.
Stone Pony. Before we make our picks to click, you don't make yours.
And I've told the story before. The Giants used to play a series of exhibition games. One year they would play San Jose State after spring training. The next year it would be University of San Francisco. It might be Santa Clara, any of the colleges here in the area. And the Giants would go play an exhibition game before the season started. Dwayne Kuiper took some kid deep from Stanford in that exhibition game. And we've been giving him grief ever since. You know, the kid lost his scholarship. He's destitute, living on the streets now because you took him deep.
Working, flip-flopping tonight between Giants TV and radio. John Miller was over in that chair just a minute ago. Up the middle and throw into center. Here comes Ketel Marte. RBI single for Nick Ahmed. And it's 2-0 D-backs. A double and a single open up the Diamondback fourth.
Very well placed ground ball that time. Got a four-hopper that gets up the middle. Giants don't shift a whole lot. Occasionally they will on those middle of the lineup guys that tend to pull the ball a little bit more, but they play a lot of straight up defense.
That is Nick's third hit in the series. Here's Alex Avila, who walked his first time up. They do put the shift on for Avila, as just about everyone does. There is you notice in the background there, Marlins man. I think he's following us around because he's not allowed in his home ballpark anymore. There was an issue, I guess, with the new ownership and Derek Jeter and the whole thing. So he's roaming the country going to these baseball games. You want anything? Let me get you a hot dog, anything? So there's Marlins man. He's been here the whole series.
I don't think he's seen more than a couple of pitches, though.
No chance.
He's like a host down there. Shaking hands, posing for pictures.
He always has that good seat right in camera range. He's been at a bunch of our games this year, wherever we go, it seems.
Well, he won't be there for long. It's hard not to notice him moving. I mean, that bright orange shirt, you know, a lot of orange shirts here in the ballpark, but his is a little brighter than the rest.
He's got the visor and the whole thing, 1 and 2. Yeah, I guess he and the Derek Jeter ownership group had a miscommunication of something, and he's a man without a country in that sense.
They should take the Marlins logo off the front and just put this space for hire.
I don't think he's hurting for money based on where he sits at all these games.
Yeah, and you'll see him in Chicago one day and San Diego the next.
Yeah, it's
Yankee Stadium the following day.
It's quite a gig he's got. He's right there, right behind home plate. And there's the third strikeout for Rodriguez. First out in the fourth. Here's Zach Godley now. Zach rounded out his first time up tonight. Obviously, with only 30 games left, every game is critical. When you've got three teams all within one game of one another for the division lead, but you'd like to change the mojo against these Giants and finish off the season series with a win. Godley gets the bunt down. Belt has it. Almost overthrows Panic at first, and Panic, the second baseman, just does get that foot down to the bag to beat Godley as they move Ahmed along.
Steven Souza making his way to the plate, touched off a home run in his last at bat, leading off the third inning for the Diamondbacks. Rodriguez starts the sequence with a fastball just low, comes back with a changeup, catches the bottom of the zone, and then four consecutive fastballs. 90, 91, 92, and see you later at 91, right in the middle of the zone. A line drive homer, his fourth of the year. That's our Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game.
Boy, so important when you get a mistake pitch like that not to miss it, especially when you've gone 25 innings without scoring a run. But Souza's homer snapped that streak. He's got Ahmed at second and 2 outs. That was one of the things that Torey Lovullo liked about the idea of Steven in the leadoff spot. You know, he's a guy that sees a lot of pitches up there, 4 or 5 pitches every at bat, nearly every time. He takes his share of walks. And he's done it before. 30 career starts in the leadoff spot, almost all of them last year in Tampa Bay. So why not? So far, so good. And he belts this one right at Slater, and it's over his head and off the wall. Ahmed is home, and Souza's at second. It's 3-0 D-backs. Well, Slater clanked one last night in the 7th inning off the bat of John Jay, and he misplayed that one.
Slater's liable to get himself a nickname if he keeps falling down on the warning track out there. Former Cardinal Lonnie Smith, they used to call him Skates because every time he'd hit a ball to left field, Lonnie would end up on the ground. It was like he was playing with skates instead of cleats, and Slater's having some trouble keeping his legs underneath him out there.
So it's a double for Souza. He's homered and doubled in the leadoff spot. He's at second, 2 outs. Now 3-0 for AJ, who's 0 for 2. Now the Souza leadoff thing does not figure to be a long-term deal, but if he keeps hitting some laser line drives like he's been, you maybe rethink that.
You know, we say it all the time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, the Diamondbacks offense was broken, and they needed something, some kind of a jump start, and occasionally just rearranging guys in the batting order gives the lineup a whole different feel.
Chance to tack on one more run here. But AJ pops that one up third base side. Hansen's under it. And that ends the inning. But the Diamondbacks in San Francisco lead it 3-0. 3-0. Hey fans, MLB.TV is now available at a lower price, $49.99. Lets you watch every out-of-market regular season game and get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Visit MLB.TV and take advantage of this special offer. Joe Panik leads off the fourth against Zach Godley, who now holds a 3-0 lead. There's a curveball for a strike. Panik grounded out his first time up. Godley so far 2 strikeouts. He's not walked a batter, but he has hit 2 batters. Giants do not have a base hit against him. Two and two on the Giants' second baseman. D-backs have lost 8 of their last 10 games against the Giants this year. San Francisco leads the season series 11-7. This is the last time we'll see the Giants this year. Full count, 3-2. Brandon Crawford on deck. That's down the line and fair. It just hit on the line. And Panik has a leadoff double. First hit for the Giants.
Slashing swing that time from Joe Panik. While slicing off the bat, was hoping it would end up in foul territory, but it just does land fair. An easy double down in that left field corner, his 12th of the year.
Oftentimes in a Zach Godley start, and we've seen it a lot, there's that big inning, and usually it's somewhere either in the 4th or the 5th. We start off with a Panik double. Here's Crawford, who struck out to end the first. First pitch swinging, pops it up. Shallow left center. Ahmed backing up. Peralta coming in. David's got it. Oh, that helps. 1 down.
Good communication there. Nick was drifting out to make the play. He was in a position to catch the ball, but David Peralta had a better angle, called him off the last instant. Nick gave way and let David make the play.
Nick Hundley was hit by a pitch to lead off the second. Godley had him in a 2-strike count, but then one just got away. Hundley may already be wearing down. He's hitting only 190 in August. He's had 1 extra base hit all month. But now with Buster Posey out, he is the catcher.
I joked before the first game of the series that he's going to need a nap by the end of the season, and the Giants keep hanging around here in the West. He's going to get all the playing time.
Well, Nick is going to be 35 years old in about a week. And as you mentioned, they did call up rookie Aramis Garcia from AAA Sacramento over the weekend. So he's been here, but he's yet to make his major league debut, the backup catcher.
And when Bruce Bochy was asked if they were going to call up another catcher on September 1st, he didn't think so. He didn't think they were going to bring up a third catcher, which is highly unusual.
Well, he's fallen behind Hundley 3-1. You've got Brandon Belt on deck. Full count, 3-2. A look from behind the plate with Mosscam. 3-2 to the Giants catcher Nick Hundley. Well, I don't think I've ever seen this before in this ballpark. Those flags in right center field are dead still. Look at that. You do not see that here very often.
You know, the end of the season, I've talked about this many times in the past, you get fooled here in San Francisco. They have Indian summer, so usually the month of September is the best month of baseball you get all year.
In the air, right center, Souza calling off AJ. Panic back at second, 2 outs.
The day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Brandon Belt lined into a double play his first time up. D-backs put the shift on. Panic at second, 2 outs. Some discussion in the San Francisco media recently about when do you begin the rebuilding process for what is quickly becoming an aging Giants team, and how do you go about it? And the idea of trading Brandon Belt for some pitching is out there. You could move Buster Posey to first base, coming off that hip surgery, and trade Belt if you needed to, or decided that was the way to go. Belt does come with some cost certainty for any interested clubs. He'll make $16 million a year for 3 more years after this one. But that is becoming a more and more topic of discussion here after this run of the every other year World Series things is about over. One and two.
You think back to the years that the Giants did win the World Series every other year there for a pretty good stretch. They had outstanding starting pitching, and that's where it always starts, out there on that bump in the middle of the field, and they had some guys that could get it done all 3 of those World Championship seasons. This year's Giants team, I mean, we're talking about Derek Rodriguez as a staff ace.
Yeah.
Not quite the same Giants rotation.
Chris Stratton has 9 wins. That leads the team. And, you know, it hasn't always been Lincecum and Kane and Mad Bum. You go back to that 2012 year they won the World Series. Ryan Vogelsong was tremendous that year for the Giants. He won a lot of big games for them in the postseason. And you wonder how long Bruce Bochy wants to keep going here. Two and two on Belt. On the ground, backhanded by Goldie. From his knees, he throws out Belt. Godley is there. And it stays 3-0 Diamondbacks.
This is for you. Good luck.
Ah, yes, in our never-ending quest to help promote Cup of Coffee with Steve Perfume, featuring Nick Ahmed, which debuts on Sunday after the Dodgers game. Decided to go over to the Buena Vista yesterday and learn how to make the perfect Irish coffee. Which
that would have been nice. Yeah.
Insisting that you do sort of a Fox Sports Arizona plus channel version, maybe with Irish coffee. But I did get to learn, guys, and I got to keep the shirt or
Sweet.
jacket or whatever that is.
It's a good deal. Peralta's walked and singled. He starts the fifth. That looked like the guy who invented the jump to conclusions mat in the movie Office Space.
You're talking about John, the bartender at the Buena Vista?
Yeah, was that
That's
him?
John, yeah.
Oh, all right. Panic from the outfield grass. And they retire Peralta for the first time tonight.
Well, for those of you scoring at home, it's 2 cubes of sugar, generous amount of coffee, crush the cubes of sugar without breaking the glass. There's an art form to that. It's all on the wrist. Another generous pour of an adult beverage, the whiskey, and then that cream, and you're on your way. But the key is that I learned yesterday, guys, is to heat the glass before you pour the coffee in it, which is something I might import back at home.
Sounds very complicated.
It was.
Well, and as you know, Todd, anybody that comes here to San Francisco to visit and takes a ride on the cable car, that's the turnaround is right next to the Buena Vista.
Right there at Beach and Hyde, right near the wharf.
The lines for the cable cars are stupid. I mean, there's like 1 million people lined up to ride those things.
But there's always street entertainment there, and you can go to the Buena Vista.
It's going to take more than one of those to get me to wait in that line.
Maybe if you had one while you were waiting.
Yeah, see, now you're thinking. That's executive thinking right
You know
there.
a guy now.
Just get one to go.
3-0 to Goldie, who has walked and struck out.
By the way, that's heavy cream. It's not just cream. There's another art form to that, too. For those of you scoring at home.
3-1. Ooh,
I have my own personal version of the Irish coffee.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Oh. Skip the sugar, skip the coffee, skip the heavy cream.
Hold everything.
Cut to the chase.
Or the chaser in this case.
I understand fully and completely.
High in the air, slicing to right center. Hernandez is at the track, and he's got it. Two outs in the fifth.
Well, it goes without saying that's a home run in just about every other ballpark in Major League Baseball. He just hit that ball about 410 feet just to the right of straightaway center field, and Gorkys Hernandez was able to run it down out there on the warning track.
Base is empty, 2 down. They put the shift on for Descalso. Diamondbacks with a 3-0 lead, which means they've already snapped Derek Rodriguez's streak of 9 starts, allowing 2 runs or fewer. It had been the second longest such active streak in the majors behind Chris Sale. Rodriguez has kind of quietly been rolling along here with a 6-1 record and a 2.30 ERA, but he's down 3-zip. This is a guy who was originally drafted, Rodriguez, as an outfielder by the Twins. Never could hit, so they converted him into a pitcher. Giants picked him up as a minor league free agent last November. He got called up at the end of May for his major league debut, and now here he is, 6-1 with an ERA under 2.5. The son of Hall of Fame catcher Pudge Rodriguez. So he pulled the anti-David Peralta, went from outfielder to pitcher. 3-2 on Descalso. He's got an arm like his dad, that's for sure. Ball dude.
Let's see, that's Julio DeLucci, a rookie ball dude.
Now, is he the guy that's the fire chief?
He is the captain in the San Francisco Fire Department. The guy down the left field line is a lieutenant with the San Francisco Fire Department.
How about that? There's a 2-out walk. That's the 4th walk of the ball game issued by Rodriguez.
How about this support? Fred Putt. P-U-T-T. Fred Putt is the ball dude down the third baseline, right?
How is he not a golf pro, by the way?
He told his son he was going to be a ball dude out here at AT&T Park, and his son said, "I hope you mess up so you'll be on the not top 10 list."
Yeah, you don't want to be on that list.
No.
I used to host that list all the time. It got ugly. Marte doubled and scored in the 4th. Well, he could have said, "Hey, you know, I hope you make a great play," and end up in the good highlight reels.
There you
Trying
go.
to bunt his way on. There you go. Hansen, though, will pick it up as it rolls foul.
Maybe a little too fine that time. Ketel Marte put that one right down the third baseline, but trickled into foul territory. Hansen was way back. That ball stays fair. That's an easy base hit.
Mention Hansen has only made 4 career starts at third base in the majors all this year. He's been playing mostly second base and some left field. Evan Longoria has the night off. Now 90 pitches for Derek Rodriguez, 52 strikes. That one missed away, 2-1. Rodriguez's spot in the batting order, due up 4th in the bottom half of this inning. There's a ground ball to Panic at second. All right, Irish coffees all around. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks. Francisco set for the bottom of the 5th inning. D-backs back in the fight for the postseason. The NL West rival Dodgers are at Chase Field for the final home series of the regular season, September 24 through the 26th. Get your D-backs Dodgers tickets right now and beat LA. Visit dbacks.com. Austin Slater leads off the bottom of the 5th against Zach Godley, who so far has given up only 1 hit and holds a 3-0 lead. Slater grounded out his first time up. We are off to Los Angeles after this one. We visit Dodger Stadium for the final time this year. Try not to tear up. Starting tomorrow night, first of 4, Dodgers beat the Texas Rangers 3-1 in Arlington today. Rockies are off as Godley gets the strikeout. Colorado opens up the series at San Diego tomorrow. Here's Alan Hansen, the third baseman. That's going to be a great series. dbacks.com. Get your tickets. Diamondbacks and Dodgers. How about that? We finish up the final home series of the year against LA. That's a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Wednesday. You talk about a homestand, Bob Brenly. The final homestand of the year starts September 17th. That's a Monday. 3 against the Cubs, first place team. Get an off day Thursday, then over the weekend 3 against the Rockies. And then you finish up with 3 against the Dodgers. Somehow that hit Hansen, they say, and he takes first. So all those big games coming up in September. dbacks.com for your tickets. That's the 3rd batter that Godley has hit tonight. They're checking the replay.
This one came on a breaking ball, a curveball he just hung on to a little bit too long. Hansen showing bunt.
Oh, come on.
It almost looked like Corey Blazer asked him, did that hit you in the foot? And Hansen shook his head, yeah, and ran on down to first base.
Be honest now. Well, it doesn't look like there's a challenge forthcoming, so we play on, McDuff. Here's Gorkys Hernandez. Hernandez was hit by a pitch. Pitcher spot is behind him, and Hunter Pence has come out of the on-deck circle. He would hit for Derek Rodriguez. Hunter Strickland, who got the save here in the opener, has started to warm up in the Giant bullpen.
I thought we might see Hunter Pence in the starting lineup tonight. He's 4 for 8 lifetime against Zach Godley with a couple of home runs.
Yeah. And Slater has proven to be a defensive liability out there in left.
Yeah, Pence started in left field the first game of this series.
Double play ball. Ahmed Marte, and they roll it. Second double play, turned behind Godley. He's through 5 with a 3-0 lead. Giants 3-0. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. We're off to Los Angeles after this one, so we'll get in there a little late tonight. And tomorrow night we open up a 4-game set at Dodger Stadium. Robbie Ray, Zach Greinke, Patrick Corbett, and Clay Buchholz. We were headed for a Greinke-Kershaw matchup on Friday, but then the Dodgers flip-flop Ryu and Kershaw to get Kershaw an extra start against Colorado. And so that's the way it's going to line up. 4 games, all 4 for you right here on Fox Sports Arizona.
First 3 left-handers as Hunter Strickland takes over for the Giants. 40th game of the season for Strickland.
Strickland got his 14th save of the year in the opener on Monday. Nick Ahmed, who had an RBI single and scored his last time up, leads it off. By the way, we have heard from a D-back fan, Adam Olshansky, who says the trick to getting on the San Francisco cable car is to wait 2 blocks away at the first stop. Apparently you don't get on where everybody lines up and it turns around and does the whole thing. You just go down 1 stop and hop on. So thank you, Adam. Did you know that?
I've only ridden the cable car, I think, twice in my life.
How can that be?
Well, you know, when you live here, you don't take advantage of all the tourist attractions. You know, you're down home in Foster City.
Nick down 0-2. Hansen at third. No problem there. 1 down. Here comes Alex Avila. Boy, you know, we got so many great letters from Diamondback fans who've been watching. Mary Leshin from Scottsdale says she's a new baseball fan, watches every game on TV, and hasn't missed one, she says, since opening day. So thank you, Mary Leshin in Scottsdale. Brenda Curran in Mesa knits while she watches Diamondbacks baseball with her husband Eugene. So hi to the Currans in Mesa watching Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona.
Got a real nice letter from Janet and TJ Darby in Phoenix. Said a lot of nice things about the telecast, and that one's grounded to second base. Should be no problem. TJ's sister married Jim Maloney, former Reds pitcher back in the day.
How about that, huh?
So they got some connections to the game of baseball. Big Diamondbacks fans. They used to love to go to the spring training games, and every year it seemed like they added another team or 2 to the Cactus League schedule, and they are in heaven.
That's great. Zach Godley, bases empty, 2 down. We got a letter from Sean Selesky. Sean Selesky in Phoenix says he's a proud Diamondbacks fan. Thanks for watching, Sean. Janet Jones from Surprise. Hi, Janet. Grew up in Massachusetts, a Red Sox fan, but now she says big D-backs fan.
I like it.
Thank you, Janet. Got a nice letter from Dale Hansen and the Hansen family in Snowflake, Arizona. Hi, guys. That one misses inside. Gil and Norma Reed from Prescott. Hi, Gil. Hi, Norma. Says we watch the games all the time. Thank you for your letter. There's a big cut by Godley, 1 and 2. And Robert Evans from Tucson wrote a very nice letter. Thank you, Robert. All these fans watching D-backs baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. and Mrs. Gail Eugene Wilson from Tempe. He is the retired professor of trombone at ASU. How about that?
Have him come out and play the national anthem. Book that gig.
And how about this? They were back in Ohio visiting some relatives, and they were driving from one place to another and actually stopped at a McDonald's in Newcomerstown, Ohio, which is about 12 miles from Coshocton. And the guy that was working in the McDonald's was one of my former teachers when I was growing up in Coshocton.
Wow.
How about that? And he put a nice little note on a napkin straight from McDonald's in Newcomerstown.
So wait, they had the guy write you a note on the napkin and mail you the napkin.
Yeah,
And that's pretty
how
cool.
About that? Yeah, that's Mr. and Mrs. It says Professor Gail Eugene Wilson. Thank you very much. Awfully nice of you.
Do you remember the class?
No.
Yeah.
I remember the name, but class wasn't special.
Well,
If he would just apply himself.
Well, more easily said than done.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? Godley's run at full 3-2 against Strickland. Pitcher spot will lead off the bottom half of this inning for the Giants. Souza, who has homered and doubled from the leadoff spot, is on deck. And Godley strikes out. But thanks again to all our great D-backs fans watching on Fox Sports Arizona. Keep them coming. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks in San Francisco.
Diamondbacks Live, the pregame show. Steve and Baba, I did want to flash back to some of the images that we brought back from the Valley earlier today. Very powerful images. Senator John McCain lies in state at the state capitol in the rotunda. The service there tomorrow. Cindy McCain with a farewell kiss to her husband there. And I just want to say this is a story that goes so far beyond politics, at least in the local universe in terms of sports. Again, a reminder, Larry Fitzgerald will give a eulogy tomorrow. Shane Doan, Luis Gonzalez will be pallbearers. And Bob Brenly, I say this to you. I know you're making your way back to pay your respects to the late Senator John McCain. And I say this on behalf of all of us who can't make it. Thank you. And you honor us by doing so.
Well, I'll tell you, John McCain, obviously just an absolutely horrible thing that happened. You know, we knew it was coming, but when it comes, it's just so shocking. But over the last 24 hours, I've been thinking of all the good things, all the fun. John McCain used to ask me after games sometimes, "What are all those signs you give? Does all that mean something?" And I told him, "I can't tell you, Senator. I can't tell you."
National secret. Oh, that's great.
Gregor Blanco, former Diamondback, just called up from AAA today. Hits for the pitcher Strickland to start the Giants' sixth against Zach Godley. And he gets this one up in the air, deep to right center. They're on the run. Who can get there? Souza's got it! Steven Souza Jr. Ho-ho! Hats off. What a catch. Tip of the cap, wag of the finger.
Boy, he had to go a long way to catch up to that one. Our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing cool play of the game. We talked about playing outfield in this ballpark when the series started. If you have some speed, this is a fun outfield to play, and Steven Souza has speed to burn out there in right field.
Well, he ran one down last night deep into Triple's alley, almost to the 421 mark. He had to lay full out for that one. That's why he was a highly recruited college football prospect as a receiver. That's a diving catch in the end zone. Here's Andrew McCutchen. What a grab by Steven Souza Jr. He's had a terrific night. He's homered and doubled from the leadoff spot. And he kept Blanco off the bases to start the Giants' sixth. McCutchen 0 for 2. One more time, maybe. Right center. Boy, it was against the Giants on a weeknight at Salt River Fields against this very same Giant team that Souza laid out and injured himself when he first suffered that pectoral muscle injury that cost him most of the first half of the year. And so that puts a nice bow on that story. Check the sheet. Where do I go for Panic? Panic doubled in the fourth. That is the only Giants hit tonight against Zach Godley. Boy, Godley has been very efficient. 14 of 17 first pitch strikes coming into this inning. Still under 70 pitches through 5 2/3. Zach has struck out 3. He's not walked a batter, but he has hit 3 batters tonight.
And he's still throwing that curveball, but not as excessively as we've seen in some of his starts recently. He's just kind of mixing it in when the count calls for it. Throwing a lot of two-seam sinkers tonight.
Goldie's got it, and Godley 6 scoreless innings of 1 hit ball with some help from Steven Souza Jr. What a catch. Diamondback defensive plays of the year. A spectacular catch in right center, and he'll lead off the D-backs 7th. Fans be at Chase Field next weekend. The D-backs and the Atlanta Braves. A 4-game set starts next Thursday, September 6th. And stick around after Friday's game for a fireworks spectacular presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. New pitcher for the Giants, the hard-throwing right-hander Reyes Moranta. It's amazing to see how far Steven Souza Jr. had to run to make this catch. StatCast has a look.
That ball was stepped on. That was hit hard.
Wow.
Covered 112 feet.
That catch is only made 32% of the time in the majors. But Souza was the right man in the right spot. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 1-1. Numbers on Maranta, 61 appearances. That puts him top 10 in the National League. Steven came in stuck in a 3 for 26 skid, but he's homered and doubled tonight, 2 for 3.
Of course, the Giants' Pablo Sandoval is on the disabled list with a right hamstring strain, but I think he lent his body to Reyes Maranta.
They have the same trainer. This guy's got good stuff. First batters this year, only 2 for 48 against Reyes Maranta. But Souza's run the count full 3-2. Punches that one foul behind Dave McKay at first.
Emergency swing. Picked that one right out of Nick Hundley's glove that time. Hey, your teammates laugh at you when you take a swing like that, but the reality is Maranta's got to throw him another pitch now. It may look funny, it may feel funny, but it serves a purpose. The emergency swing. .97 off the plate in that time.
Yeah, good luck with that. Diamondbacks about to hit the Giants 5-1. They lead at 3-0. High in the air to right center. McCutchen calling off Hernandez.
Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Here's AJ, who's 0 for 3. Boy, AJ trying to get it going. He is right now in a 3 for 27 slide. Hitting about 220 in August. Diamondbacks' last base hit was Souza's RBI double in the 4th that Slater misplayed in left. Couldn't check, says Trip Gibson. It's 0-2. Called strike 3. Breaking balls in there. AJ 0 for 4. Peralta has walked in single tonight, 1 for 2. Giants will put 3 defenders on the first base side against them. Crawford, the shortstop, just over on the first base side of second.
Take off my shoes so I could count them all up here, but Steven Souza Jr. after a 1-pitch at bat back in the first inning has saw 6 pitches in his home run at bat, 3 pitches in the double at bat, and 8 pitches in that fly ball to right field at bat. So if you're looking at a leadoff hitter that sees a bunch of pitches and makes a pitcher work hard, so far so good.
It'll be interesting to see if Torrey sticks with this. Steven's done a good job,
especially with the 3 lefties the first 3 games in LA.
Yeah, great point. Almirante gets 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 seventh. We stretch in San Francisco where the D-backs lead the Giants 3-0. Zach Godley, so far 6 scoreless innings of 1-hit ball, and it's 3-0 Diamondbacks. D-backs season tickets for 2019 on sale right now. You can choose from a full, a half a series, or a weekend season ticket plan, and that'll guarantee you postseason priority. Log on now to dbacks.com. Godley has given up only a Joe Panik double to start off the 4th inning. He has struck out 3. He's hit 3 batters, no walks. He'll face Crawford, Hundley, and Belt 3, 4, and 5 in the Giants' 7th. And the pitch count has been very good for Zach. 70 pitches through 6 innings, 44 strikes. Brandon Crawford 0 for 2 will lead it off.
And the one hit that Zach Godley gave up in this ball game was a leadoff double by Joe Panik in the 4th, and the Giants very quickly went down 1-2-3 after that.
Yeah, Panik just kind of sliced it down the left field line. It landed just fair, but he was stranded at second base. Crawford has struck out, flied out. Sam Dyson starts to warm up in the Giant bullpen. He threw 12 pitches in working the 8th inning last night. Gave up a couple of hits. Boy, Zach has been throwing strikes all night long. Another first pitch strike. He's done that since the get-go here tonight. And check, and it's 0-2. (16 of 21 first pitch strikes). That's a Clay Buchholz method right there.
Yeah.
Get ahead, stay ahead. Descalso off the glove. Ahmed recovers. Got him! How about that? The ricochet off Daniel Descalso, and Nick Ahmed is there to clean it up. 1 out.
That's 5-6-3 if you're scoring at home. You see Daniel over in the hole between 3rd and short. The ball hits off the heel of his glove right to Nick Ahmed. Makes a nice throw on the run on a hop to goalie to get Crawford.
Unfortunately, it went right to Nick. Boy, it's amazing how quick he can release that baseball.
It really is.
It's gone as soon as it's in the glove almost. Nick Hundley, the catcher.
We mentioned last night, Nick Ahmed has only made 7 errors all season. One of them in the ball game last night. Only one of them has been a throwing error. And we've seen him throw, running every direction, throwing back across his body, throwing underhanded, planting his foot, jump throws from the hole between third and short, and only one throwing error all season.
Nick Ahmed's 18 defensive runs saved leads all major league shortstops. Hundley can check. Foul tip. Avila hangs on. 0-2.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes sometimes when you work in the booth. We were singing the praises of Brandon Crawford and Nick Ahmed, 2 of the best defensive shortstops in the ball game, and they both made an error last night.
One of those nights. Swing and a miss. Godley's got his 4th strikeout.
Wow, a couple of real nice cutters in that sequence that time I mentioned. He hasn't been throwing as many cutters tonight, but starts with one up in the zone. That one's fouled away. Another one up in the zone, a foul tip, and then misses away with the curveball. Comes right back with a cutter in that same location at 89. Gets a swing and a miss. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
77 pitches, 50 strikes. Bases empty, 2 down for Belt. 0 for 2. This has been an impressive bounce back start for Zach Godley. Zach had a difficult time his last 2 appearances. 6 earned runs in 5 innings at San Diego. He walked 4 in that game. And then last week, the loss to Seattle, 5 runs, 7 hits in 5. It's been an entirely different story here tonight. Yes, he went, says Adrian Johnson. 7 scoreless, only 1 hit allowed by Godley. 3-0 D-backs. Giants. Hey, Wildcats don't miss D-backs U of A night coming up next Thursday. It's September 6th. You can get this custom D-backs U of A cap and a discounted baseline reserve ticket, all for only $25 with our special event ticket pack, but only limited quantities still remain, so you got to get moving here. Visit dbacks.com/Wildcats. New pitcher for the Giants, right-hander Sam Dyson, who worked the 8th inning in last night's ball game, gave up 2 hits, including the Peralta drive into right center on which Nick Ahmed was cut down at home. Dodgers have already won tonight. They beat the Rangers in Texas 3-1. The Rockies are off. They open up a set at San Diego tomorrow. Goldie has walked. He's 0 for 2. So a win here for the Diamondbacks would give them a half-game lead over Colorado. The Dodgers would be in third, only 1 game back. Good fastball there, a little low for Corey Blazer, 1-0. Our final game against San Francisco this year. D-backs only 7-11 in the season series. This low again, 2-0.
That heavy sinking fastball from Sam Dyson. That's a good pitch to lay off of. If it starts down there around the knees, it's going to end up out of the strike zone low. And if you do swing, probably a ground ball right at one of the infielders. See it up.
Yeah, Dyson is a heavy ground ball pitcher, nearly 60%. That's top 10 among all National League relievers. Gets a lot of double plays. On the ground to Crawford, backhands it at shortstop. Wild throw, belts off the bag. Safe is the call, but did Goldie ever touch first base?
I think he did.
That's an E6. Another one by Crawford, his second in this series.
Boy, nice adjustment there by Goldie. Of course, being a first baseman, he understands what to look for as he's running down that first base line. He saw Belt come off the bag into foul territory, so Goldie zigged a little bit to the infield side and reached out and touched the bag going by.
Well, Crawford had an error in last night's ball game. Another one right there puts Goldie aboard for Descalso, who walked his last time up. Dave McKay coaching at first. Into the shift. Crawford's going to have to touch him. Can't reach Goldie. And they do get to Descalso at first. Once again, with that shift on, there was no one to whom Crawford could throw the ball. Brings up Ketel Marte.
Yeah, if you can't charge that ball and field it and tag the runner at the same time, no way to turn a double play right there. The position he was in, he would have had to run to the bag at second, and I don't think he could have beat Goldie to the base from where he was.
So Goldie at second, 1 out. Marte 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the fourth. He's got 3 hits in the series. Boy, Hundley had to move the glove so much that pitch fooled Corey Blazer a bit. 1-0. He's hearing it now from the Giant dugout.
That's one thing the Giants are really going to miss about not having Buster Posey. Buster's really good about making borderline pitches look good. Nick Hundley, unfortunately, he boxes some of those borderline pitches and pushes them farther out of the zone.
Dyson tried to kick it. Crawford is there. Goldie in at third. 2 outs. Well, the first time all year Brandon Crawford has had errors in back-to-back games. We'll see if the Diamondbacks can take advantage. Goalies at third, 2 down for Ahmed, who had an RBI single in the 4th. Alex Avila is the on-deck hitter. Pitcher spot behind him. No one warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. Godley has thrown 7 scoreless innings of 1-hit ball. There's that low fastball, 0-1.
I mentioned earlier when Goldie was up at the plate, you have to see it up when you face a guy like Dyson that throws that heavy sinking fastball. And that gets back to something we talked about a lot early in the season, tunneling. If you know a guy's going to throw a heavy sinking fastball, you have to see it out of his hand up high, maybe even above the strike zone. Anything from the middle of the thighs down is just going to keep sinking. You're probably going to hit a ground ball if you make contact. So we used to just call it see the ball. They call it tunneling now, but you want to tunnel up against a guy like this. You see that index finger with a wiggle. That's the sinker, the two-seamer. That sinker just chases you right out of the batter's box. That one started near the inside corner, moved way down and in. Nice play.
Way to go, Danny. He's a veteran. He can make that. He can make that play in his sleep. Stays in focus the whole time. 0-2. Oh, Dyson gets the strikeout. They strand Goldie at third. Still 3-0 Diamondback. The Giants 3-0. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, Todd Walsh with you. Don't forget, fans, if you can't watch the Diamondbacks games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. Eduardo Escobar takes over at third for Daniel Descalso. Zach Godley working on a one-hit shutout through 7 as Austin Slater leads off the Giants' 8th. We are missing a right fielder.
Something fell on the field down there in the right field corner. Steven Souza Jr. doing a little housekeeping.
Zach opens up the 8th inning at 80 pitches, 53 for strikes. He has 5 strikeouts. He's not walked a batter, although he's hit 3 Giants today.
Frank Robinson would have been proud of Zach Godley tonight. I've told the story many times in the past. We were mired in a horrible team slump back in 1984. Frank called a team meeting after a game one night. That's never a good thing. And we all assumed we were going to get aired out for being bad hitters and not scoring runs, and he climbed all over the pitching staff. Somebody's got to go out there and throw a shutout. You know we can't hit. Well, Zach Godley doing exactly that here tonight.
Diamondback starters have been outstanding in this series. Corbin, Buchholz, and tonight Godley. Giants scored only 3 runs in the first 2 games, but won them both. But here, all 3 runs in the Diamondback column. 1 and 2 on Austin Slater. Ty Block, left-hander, starts to get loose in the Giant bullpen. D-backs will have Avila, the pitcher spot, and Souza due up 8, 9, and 1 in the 9th. Godley gets his 6th strikeout. That's 3 in a row. 1 down.
He might not be throwing as many curveballs tonight as he normally does, but the ones he's thrown have been very effective. Starts him with a high fastball to get the foul ball. There's a nasty curve on the outside corner, one way off the plate, and then another one just off the outside corner, close enough to get Slater to chase. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Zach Godley has never thrown a shutout in the big leagues. He's never thrown a complete game either. He's 5 outs away from both. Here's Alan Hansen, strike 1. The only Giants hit, Joe Panik's double to lead off the 4th. Giants have had 1 base runner since. That's when Hansen was hit in the foot by a pitch back in the 5th. He's down 0-2. Godley has retired the last 8 he's faced. He's had 2 double plays behind him, and he is only 2 over the minimum.
Well, twice those double plays came after he hit a batter. Add insult to injury.
Yeah, that's a good call. Belt lined into a double play in the 2nd. Hernandez hit into a 6-4-3 to end the 5th.
Up.
A little looper. Souza's got it again. Steven Souza Jr. his 2nd diving catch tonight behind Godley. 2 down in the game.
We're going to have to talk to Steven after the game and have him rank his catches in the ball game tonight. This might be the toughest one. That line drive sinking in front of you. You got to run straight in. Makes a great diving play.
Boy, that sure looked like it was going to drop in for a bloop single. Corky's Hernandez. 2 down, bases empty. This is belted to left, and that's a base hit. Peralta cuts it off. He holds Hernandez to a long single. Only the 2nd hit for the Giants tonight against Zach Godley. And now Hunter Pence will bat for the pitcher. That ends a stretch of 9 in a row retired by Zach.
And you wonder if that might not be enough to get some activity in the bullpen just in case. Zach has just been cruising in this ball game. It is a 2-out base hit with Hunter Pence coming up to the plate as the pinch hitter. Nobody warming up at this point.
Godley spot, due up second in the top of the ninth. Pence is 0 for 4 in the series. Flied out as a pinch hitter last night. Godley at now 91 pitches. There's ball one. 91 pitches, 61 strikes. Pence 36 plate appearances as a pinch hitter this year. He's hitting .206. Archie Bradley going to start wandering down to the Diamondback bullpen. So Archie may wind up with the save opportunity here. 3-0 in the 8th inning. So maybe a shake-up at the back end of the bullpen. 2-0 to Pence. Just missed away. It's 3-0. We've got McCutchen on deck. He is the tying run with 2 outs. First 3-0 count for Zach Godley all night long. He missed low, and the tying run comes up to the plate. His first base on balls tonight. Conference time at the mound.
One thing about Zach Godley on the mound, Archie Bradley's trying to get ready quickly down that bullpen, but Zach works so quickly out there on the mound. He gets the ball back from his catcher. He's right back up on the rubber, ready to go. Yeah, sometimes that reliever needs a little time down there in the bullpen as well.
Well, McCutchen tonight is 0 for 3. There's Archie down with bullpen coach Mike Fetters trying to get hot. McCutchen has a pair of hits in the series. He's doubled and walked 3 times. 0 for 3 tonight. Long, slow walk to the mound for Torey Lovullo. No sign as of yet from the skipper. This may be a I want to look in the eye kind of a deal.
Yeah. And so out of character. Zach just completely lost the strike zone there to Hunter Pence. And obviously pitching him carefully. I mentioned earlier he has good career numbers against Zach Godley, but he hasn't shied away from any challenge in this ball game tonight.
Now Corey Blazer finally out there to break it up, and they will go to Archie Bradley. Zach Godley outstanding tonight in San Francisco. He leaves leading 3-0. He was brilliant tonight through 7 2/3, Bob. He was throwing strikes from the get-go.
Every pitch he threw in this ball game tonight was with conviction. It didn't matter whether it was a curve ball, the changeup, the cutter, the sinker. Every pitch he threw had a purpose. Just outstanding.
And now Archie Bradley is on to face Andrew McCutchen. 2 on and 2 out. Souza with a couple of defensive gems back there tonight. And there's a strike. Archie worked in the ball game last night, came on to start the 8th. And you'll recall he walked 2 batters in his appearance last night. He threw 21 pitches, only 9 strikes. He's got Hernandez at second, Pence at first, and 2 outs. McCutchen, the tying run at the plate here in the 8th inning. Two and one. Joe Panik is the on-deck hitter for the Giants. Archie walked Panik last night on a 3-2 pitch. Up the middle and into center. This will get Hernandez home, and it's 3-1.
Curveball that stayed in the middle of the plate that time. McCutchen hits it right back up the middle over the mound into center field. Threw a real good curveball earlier in the sequence to start that sequence from McCutchen, but left that one up.
Mike Butcher with a slow walk out to the mound now. The Diamondback bullpen is quiet, and the batter is Joe Panik.
Like Andrew Chafin headed down to the Diamondbacks bullpen to begin throwing.
He's going to start running down there. Let's go down to Todd.
Just wanted to chase this Archie Bradley situation. You mentioned last night he did not complete the inning. We talked to manager Torey Lovullo last night on the postgame show, and again today that's just a dramatic turn from him, but he did not like what he saw from Archie in that inning, the 2 walks that you mentioned, and he said he's on board. He understands that it wasn't all going in his direction, and he wasn't going to certainly criticize the manager for a bit of a change in protocol, but I think that's more to the evolution of Torey Lovullo as this season wears on and as Archie's season wears on, recognizing that he wasn't getting it done last night and was certainly willing to pull him out of the game.
Yeah, he got McCutchen to fly out, then walk Panik and Longoria back to back, and here's Panik right now. 2 on, 2 out, a run is in. And again, this is with a fastball. You got the lefty on deck in Crawford. Chafin warming up in the bullpen. There's a low strike call. That's a gift from Corey Blazer right there. 1-1. Well, those managers at their angle from the dugouts, they can tell when a ball was below the knees.
Yeah, high and low you can see pretty easily from the dugouts. In and out you can't tell quite as well.
That one almost got Ron Wotus at third. 1-2. Pence is at second. McCutcheon is the tying run at first. Fastball's up, 2-2. Yoshi Hirano starts to get loose in the D-back bullpen along with Chafin. Another one fouled off. That might have been the slider.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't a snapdragon curveball like we're used to seeing from Archie. Just had a little movement into Joe Panik that time. Might have been the slider at 83.
Every once in a while that slider shows up. Stayed away from the fastball again. It's still 2-2.
He's got to be careful with all those off-speed deliveries to Joe Panik. Steven Souza Jr. is over in the gap in right center. A.J. Pollock's almost in the gap in left center. There's a lot of room just to the right of straightaway center and down the line in right field, which is where Panik would be likely to hit an off-speed pitch.
Strike three. Got him with a fastball. Archie strands two. It's 3-1 as we hit the ninth. D-backs lead as we start the ninth inning. Don't forget, Sun Devil fans, college football's back on FS1. ASU's home opener against UTSA is Saturday at 7:30 on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Left-hander Ty Block is on for the Giants to face Alex Avila. Pitcher spot behind Alex, and Christian Walker is in the on-deck circle. Avila has walked, struck out, grounded out tonight, 0 for 2. Giants have the shift on.
Couple more runs wouldn't hurt anything. Give you a little bit more cushion for that bottom of the 9th inning. Plus, break this syndrome of doing all your scoring in 1 or 2 innings in the ball game and then shutting it down the rest of the game.
Little bloop out there, and Hansen, the third baseman, tracks it down. And now Andrew Chafin, who had been warming up earlier, came back into the dugout, starts to walk back down to the bullpen. As Christian Walker comes up, it's a hit for Archie Bradley.
Yeah, Crawford's leading off the bottom of the 9th for the Giants, a left-handed hitter, followed by Nick Hundley, a righty, and then Brandon Belt, a lefty. So could possibly see Andrew Chafin at least to start the inning.
Christian, 21 games for the Diamondbacks, a 200 hitter and 1 homer. He popped out as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning last night. Drills this one toward the left field foul pole, and it's in the seats, out of play. Well, this is the right-hand power bat off the bench that the Diamondbacks were looking for. There's Andrew Chafin. He'll start to get it cranked up again. Brad Boxberger making a slow walk down there as well now. Giants have Crawford, Hundley, and Belt due up 3, 4, and 5 in the bottom of the 9th. Chased a high fastball, 1 and 2. Christian at AAA Reno this year, hit .299, 18 home runs. Souza, who has homered and doubled, knocked in 2 runs, is on deck and made 2 spectacular diving catches in the outfield. Another high fastball, and Walker goes down swinging. Stevens' first start this year in the leadoff spot. And now, based on what we've seen tonight, you got to think if Torrey's thinking, hey, we may stick with this in Los Angeles. We'll see. 3 left-hand starters for the Dodgers in that series. Rich Hill, Hyunjin Ryu, and Clayton Kershaw will start those first 3.
Well, as you said, it remains to be seen whether Steven Souza Jr. will remain in that leadoff spot, but it sure has energized him tonight. What a game.
Deep to center for Gorkys Hernandez. So here we go, bottom 9. D-backs lead it 3-1. Not exactly the offensive explosion we'd hoped for. Diamondbacks have only 5 hits in the game and none since the 4th inning. But they have a 3-1 lead as we start the bottom of the 9th. Brandon Crawford on to face the new pitcher Andrew Chafin. Andrew came on to get the final out of the 8th inning last night. He got Crawford to ground out on a 3-2 pitch, so here's the rematch to start the 9th. Crawford tonight 0 for 3. Boxberger ready in the Diamondback bullpen. You've got the right-hand batting Nick Hundley on deck, although there's no one out there right now. And then the lefty Brandon Belt duo. Here comes Hundley. Chafin got the Diamondbacks out of a big mess in the 8th inning last night when the Giants had 2nd and 3rd. He got the final out to strand 2. There's a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2. Saw Andrew last night a little more willing, it seemed, to lean on that fastball than we usually see, not so much on the slider.
He's got a good fastball in the mid-90s. When he's locating it, it's a very valuable pitch for him.
Gets that into some lefties.
Yeah, push that inside to the lefties and then go right back away with that slider again.
Tried the fastball but missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Crawford can handle lefties, about 280 this year versus left-handers. Hundley on deck. Checks his swing on the slider, and once again these two have worked a full count 3-2. This was the case last night. And Chafin got Crawford to ground out to first. Oh. Put that slider in a good spot. Just did get a piece to stay alive.
You can't make a better pitch than that. That slider was right at the knees on the outside corner, working down and away from the left-handed hitting Crawford, and somehow he just got a piece of it.
Only 30 games to go for Torey Lovullo. Got him. Back to the slider, 1 down.
Can't get a piece of that one. That one had a little more downward movement than lateral movement, and he got Crawford to swing right over the top.
Brad Boxberger on his way in, back after this. Be the batter for the Giants, and here is the closer Brad Boxberger looking for save number 30 on the year.
A little out of character for Troy Lavello to start the inning with Andrew Chafin to get the left-hand hitting Brandon Crawford and then give the ball to Brad Boxberger, but we're getting right down to it. Final 30 games of the season, you got to play matchups where they appear in the opposing lineup.
Remember, Brad had the blown save Saturday against Seattle, bounced back to get save number 29 in Sunday's win over the Mariners. On to get the final 2 outs here in San Francisco. Fastballs, a strike, 0-1. Another fastball jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Hundley's offensive game wearing down a bit. He's hitting .210 since the All-Star break. He's got him set up for the changeup if he wants it. Avila wants the fastball up. Hundley lays off, and it's 1-2.
That was textbook up the ladder there. First pitch at the bottom of the strike zone. Second pitch at the top of the strike zone. Just see how high he will go. Elevated that third one up above the zone. He laid off that time.
Fastball right by him. Avila hangs on. 2 outs.
Nick Hundley just got overpowered that at bat. A series of low 90s fastballs.
Stayed away from the changeup the whole at bat. Brandon Belt, last man standing. D-backs will put 3 defenders on the right side of the infield against him. Belt is hitless in the series. Fastball got the call from Corey Blazer. That one appeared to be off the corner, but it's 0-1. There's the changeup. He's a strike away. Todd Wall standing by. Diamondbacks live post-game show follows our ball game. Eduardo Escobar goes into the second base spot now with 2 strikes. Ahmed slides over to short. Whole left side of the infield is wide open. Remember, this is the same alignment with the same hitter that broke up a no-hit bid by Patrick Corbin when Belt had that excuse me check swing bouncer away from the shift over toward the shortstop side of the bag. Ahmed almost straight away up the middle. .02 is there, and the Diamondbacks win it. Boxberger gets the save. Godley gets the win. And the Diamondbacks regain control of the National League West by a half game over Colorado. They're a game up on the Dodgers, who won at Texas earlier tonight.
Wasn't exactly an offensive outburst, but when you get a start like Zach Godley gave the Diamondbacks tonight, you don't need to score very many. Outstanding performance by the right-hander.
Diamondbacks get win number 73. They are 13 over 500, and they salvage the finale here in San Francisco before it's off to LA for 4 against the Dodgers starting tomorrow night. Much more from the AT&T Park coming up next. It's Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show brought to you by CenturyLink. You'll get reaction from inside the clubhouse. A big night offensively and defensively for Steven Souza Jr. Godley in the bullpen, get it done. 3-1 D-backs.